Right, so, somebody call out their favourite sweet that you bought today on a thing. There were refreshers. How many people here would buy refreshers would that be their top sweet? Oh, okay. Pringles, how many people put Pringles up? Okay. What else? Oh, Chews, the little, the long ones. What do you call them? The long ones. Moans. Moans, red Moans be anybody's top choice? What would be your top choice of sweet? Haribos, Rainbow Drops, a salad. Like fruit salad or just a salad? Just a salad. I love it. Fantastic. Your parents must be very proud. Cool. I'll be coming back to sweets later on. Guys, if you're joining us, take a seat. Cool. So, my talk... Oh, Hannah, can we get that first slide up? No? Oh, it's a lovely colour, but it's not my first slide. Okay, it's going to say intriguing Christianity any minute. Yay! So, I have chosen this word, intriguing. Intriguing. So, I wonder what intriguing means. I'm not sure that Hannah can actually see me because I'm sitting on the side of the stage. Can I have the next slide? Thank you. So intrigue means to provoke curiosity, questions and interest. To provoke curiosity, questions and interest. So why is this a key word, I wonder? We live in a world that is just so busy, isn't it? It's just so full of messages, so full of stuff. Even now, some of you can't bear to be off your phones. It's amazing. So, I think that to be intriguing is kind of a key, guys. I think intriguing is a key to how we can provoke curiosity, to get our friends and family to ask questions, to get the world interested in what our faith has to offer. Now, there are plenty of people, companies and artists and kind of entities who are using intrigue or cryptic marketing to kind of attract our attention. So I wonder how many of you have saw this in the news last year. Did anybody see this? So, have any of you heard of the rapper, Canadian rapper called Drake? Yeah. Okay, so Drake is a little bit of a mischievous character, I think. He likes to use cryptic marketing. So he puts up billboards, and people don't know it's him that's putting them up to begin with, and they're just like, what is that? I have no idea what that means. So that came up, was put up in Toronto last year. I still can't find any details about what it actually meant, but his album came out shortly after. It's called Views from the Six, so I feel that there's some kind of reference to that in that. I wonder how many of you are gamers and played Titanfall in your time. Anybody played Titanfall? Okay. Alright. So, Titanfall, the makers of Titanfall, would it be okay if you put your phone away now? That'd be awesome. Thank you. Titanfall, the makers of Titanfall, wanted to attract attention when they were going to launch their second game, Titanfall 2. And instead of kind of blasting out adverts and things all around, they put out a select number of video messages. And at the end, there was something weird. And on the first day this was released, a gamer who was doing a vlog of the new game had this to mention. So if we can run the film now, because he was, just like a lot of other gamers in the community of gaming, was just intrigued about what was going on at the end of this particular advert. And everybody had started messaging, putting people messages on billboards and kind of talking, as there was a chat going on about what this ending could mean, and did it have a hidden meaning? So any minute now, we're going to see him making kind of
What is going on, guys? Nathan here. Welcome back to my channel. Now, a few days ago, I did post a video about how BT died and about the ending of Titanfall and the fact that he's still not really dead. Now, if you guys actually watched my video, and if you guys just played the campaign on medium, or not medium, on hard or master, whatever the heck the last two hard difficulties were, you guys probably saw a cutscene after the credits were over showing Jack's helmet actually pinging. Now, as of a few hours ago, someone commented on my video saying that, hey, I heard something about the code or the beeping and flashing lights meaning Morse code or binary code. So I looked into it, and it turns out a few other people had posted this on YouTube, but they didn't really explain it too in depth. But yeah, some people were actually saying how the beeping was Morse code and the lights were able to be translated into binary. Now, I could be wrong, but I did go ahead and actually read and see what those guys translated, and it actually turned out that it translated out to Jack with a question mark. So he was asking a question like, for example, like BT was asking, hey Jack, are you still there? Like, can you read this message? Can you, give me a signal that you're still out there searching for me or something like that? But before we dive too deep into the subject, if you guys have not had a chance to view the clip at the end, here it is right now.
Wait for it. Oh, okay, we can stop the video.
So on screen, you guys are looking at right now.
And go back to the PowerPoint, that'd be amazing. Thank you, Hannah. So, this whole thing went a little bit viral and a little bit kind of like, ooh, what happened? And it actually turned out that that code at the end, if you solved the binary code, led you to a website, and the website led you to a competition you could win. But it was all very intriguing. People were interested, they were asking questions, they were kind of drawing closer. And I think that is really key. Because in our world today, we have the next level, full of messages. The world is full of messages. The brands are just shoving things at us left, right and centre. And it's difficult to imagine a world where we didn't have somebody somewhere trying to sell us something pretty much 24/7. We are saturated by different marketing messages. So, I think we need to be distinctive. Our faith should be different. And God isn't asking us to be a salesperson. He's asking us to be distinctive, to be different, and in that way to provoke questions, to get people to say, what is going on there? Why? Why are you like that? So I think we should look back at the early church and look exactly at some of the ways they did it as well. I think they were intriguingly distinctive. Thanks, Hannah, for this. So, you may well have read this passage before. It's kind of held up as being a model of kind of like an ideal church. And it happened only a few years after Jesus died. So, do you know what? My notes are so small, I cannot read the Bible from there, so please excuse me being rude. I'm going to skip around and read it like that. So, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to the breaking of bread and to prayer. Everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs performed by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give aid to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favour of all the people. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. So, clearly something's going on here. Clearly they're getting something right. Because if the Lord added to their number daily, they clearly had the favour of all the people. And people thought, ooh, who are these people? What are they doing? And I want a bit of this. I think they had three things going for them. The next one. All the believers were together and had everything in common. That's unusual. That's really unusual, isn't it? That actually a group of people could be together, stay together, very different types of people, from very different backgrounds. And they were saying, actually, we want to be together. And that's why events like today are so special, because actually we're modelling something that started just a few years after Jesus died. That unity matters, that this event and events like this, where lots of different churches can get together, is really important. It's distinctively different. It makes the world lean in and go, what's going on there? And the next one. Generosity. They sold property and possessions to give to everyone who had need. Well, I think that would get somebody's attention, wouldn't it? If you heard of somebody who sold everything to give it away to those people who really needed it, I think that would make you ask, why? Why would you do that? They were provoking the question. And finally, hospitality. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts. As Sebastian was saying earlier, the food has been awesome today. I think Jesus smiles when we all get round the table and we eat together. There's something really special about that. And they had that right from the word go. It's distinctive. So, how do we learn from these early Christians? See, I think when you put those things together, they had found their sweet spot. They had found their sweet spot. So they had found a mix that worked and caused other people to lean in and go, what have they got? I want some of that. So, I wonder what your sweet spot might mean for us today. So, I love a good Venn diagram. I'm not really into maths, but I do think I love thinking in pictures, and I think this does it for me. So it's that bit in the middle, that kind of the intersection, if you like, the bit that stands out, when what you're good at combines with what you love, and finally is translated into something that serves the world, or serves the kingdom. So what you are good at, combined with what you love, and then that translated into something that really serves the kingdom. Because there may be things that you love and are good at, but actually it's really difficult to use those things to serve other people. So I'm going to be controversial here and say if you're good at FIFA and are passionate at FIFA, that's fantastic. But it's actually really difficult to use FIFA to serve other people. I'm sure you can, I just can't think of it. It's my fault thing maybe. But I think there are things out there that you can be good at and enjoy doing, but don't actually have a way of serving the kingdom or serving other people. That is the sweet spot. That's the bit that makes other people ask the question. Because it's selfless, because it goes the extra mile, because it's that generosity of spirit. So the question is, what can you do to find your sweet spot? And I've got a few people who I think really have done that. So this is somebody who I came across on the internet. She is phenomenal. Alison is a phenomenal artist, but she really unlocked her art skills when she started artistically journaling in her Bible. And she doesn't just decorate her Bible, but she kind of fills it with messages of how God has been working in her life and what difference her faith makes to her. And then she puts it up on her Pinterest and her Instagram, and then there's these really interesting discussions that happen from people who find her art on the internet and are intrigued and are curious and kind of ask questions about why and what does that mean. So people are leaning in and coming to her because of what she's doing. And then we've got my friend Alex. Now, Alex is from Crane, which is a long, long way away, but he actually lives just down the road. He is working for an organisation called Young Life, and he works with schools and youth groups in Hatfield and Hertford. And Alex is an insane sportsman. His skateboard skills are sick. And I know I shouldn't actually use that word because I'm way too old, but genuinely, if you look him up in the dictionary, Alex is sick at skateboarding. He's brilliant, and basketball and all sorts of things. But he's also really good at connecting with other people. So he's used his passion for sports and the way that he's really good with other people. And then he's moved thousands of miles across the world for God, to work with young people who don't know God. And in this way, he's found his sweet spot. He loves what he does. And people lean into him and want to know more about him, and want to know more about why he's moved here, and more about why he's using his sports skills in this way. It's really cool. And finally, my final is Claire the Anxiety Lady, and that is me. I am the Anxiety Lady. That's a very good title. I run something called The Haven, which is a support group for young people with anxiety issues, so people who are really struggling with stress and anxiety. And I started doing this because my family, we have experienced the effects of kind of debilitating anxiety firsthand. So someone in my family lost hours and hours, days and days of school time, actually because of the way that anxiety just meant that they were just, it was too big an obstacle to get to school. And once they were in school, they just couldn't stay in the class because their anxiety was just kind of crashing down on them. And I saw the pain that was causing, and I looked around to find a solution and things that people that could help. And there really wasn't very much. And now CAMS does an amazing job, but they're almost at breaking point. They're just so busy. So I decided that actually my passion now is a cause. And the cause was young people that I met who were really struggling with the effects of anxiety. And I wanted to do something to help them. And actually, I'm quite good at organising things. And I'm quite good at kind of getting people together. And so I used the thing that I was really passionate about, and the thing I was good at, and I did it to serve God. Because I believe that God wants all of us to have a life that's whole and healthy and free. And anxiety is the opposite of that. I found my sweet spot. So what about you? I wonder what would be your sweet spot. So I just want you to ask, I want you to just, maybe you want to close your eyes and just have a moment of reflection. What are you good at doing? What are you really good at? Oh, I'm really good at not turning off my mobile. What are you good at? What do you love doing? What is it you love doing? And how might that be used to serve other people, to help other people, to make God's world a better place, to make his kingdom come? Now, all of this is about actions, I guess, but it doesn't get us off the hook with words. I wonder if you've heard this phrase, this quote from a well-known saint. The quote goes like this: "Preach the gospel wherever you can, and when all else fails, use words." And it's supposed to be by Francis of Assisi. The bad news is, it turns out he never said it. It's a shame, isn't it? It's a really nice phrase, but it turns out he never said it. And the reason he probably never said it is because actually that kind of infers that we can just do the do and not worry about talking the talk. But in my experience, that's not right. We have to be prepared to explain, at least when people ask us the questions, we have to be prepared to answer those questions. Peterson, in his letter, says, in your hearts revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you, to give the reason for your hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. So if you are doing something that causes somebody else to say, why have you done that? Why do you go to church? Why are you serving? Why are you working in your youth group? Why are you putting yourself out like that? Why are you sacrificing like this? Why are you giving up your Saturdays to help somebody else, when they ask those questions, actually, it would be dishonest if we didn't point it back up to God. And yet, so often we get tongue-tied, don't we? We feel worried that we're not going to give the right answer. We feel embarrassed about what they might think, and we kind of fudge it. But I think there is some really good news. And the good news is, next slide, that we're not called to make it all up on the spot. Just be truthful. Sounds difficult, isn't it? But actually, if we don't worry, if we try and put aside a worry about impressing someone, we can just give a truthful answer. We're being true to ourselves. Do you know what? I think we worry that we need to have all the answers just like that. We don't. It's okay to say, actually, I'm not sure about that. Do you know, you've asked that question and I really don't know the answer to that. Because if a friend who sees what we're doing at church and asks us a question about Christianity and we don't know what the theology of the Holy Spirit is or the Trinity, then we're not asked to be theological brain boxes. We're just asked to be ourselves and go, do you know what, I don't know, that's really interesting. But I probably know someone who does, so I'll find out. Or give me a bit of time and I can come back. Or even better, actually, I know a group where we do ask these questions and there's people on hand who know it more than me. Do you want to come along? We're not... The good news about being intriguing Christianity with Christians is we're not asking you to go out on the street and proclaim words of kind of that you to proclaim things that you're not. We're asking you to show what you are, because what you've got is really special. What you've got works for you. It's worth sharing. And all of these things, I think, add up to something that kind of is a wise approach to the world. Paul earlier referenced Daniel, and Daniel said this: "Those who are wise will shine like the brightest of heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." I think sometimes we worry that the world is too dark for us and our message is too small. We worry that there's too many dark things going on, and what difference can one person make? And yet, stars shine all the time, don't they? But we only see them when the skies are dark. And somebody once told me that jewellers choose to display their priceless diamonds on black material so that their brightness of the light that they reflect will shine and shine out in an eye-catching way. So my challenge to you is, even if you feel that the world is a dark place, even if you feel insignificant or that what difference can you make, I challenge you to be intriguing, to find your sweet spot, to find the thing that you can do, that you're good at, that you love doing, and that can serve others. And in that way, I really believe you can shine brighter than all the rest. So, Martin's not here, is he? No, okay. So, why don't you just go back to thinking about what it is that you would be able to do, that you love, and that would serve others. And in small groups that you're sitting in, let me just pray together that you would find that way, that sweet spot of something you could do, that you love doing, that you're good at doing, and that would serve others. And if you haven't got anyone to pray with you, you'd like someone to pray with you, just stick up a hand, and we've got some youth leaders around who'd love to pray.